Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister sued by one of his former ambassadors. And in sport, the West Indies head coach wants more from opener Evan Lewis. I'm Dawn Paris and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Wednesday, July 12th. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Join the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and its regional and international partners at the CBU Annual General Assembly, August 21st through 24th at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau, the Bahamas, under the theme Digital Developments in Caribbean Media. Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Dr. the Honorable Hubert Alexander Minnis, will welcome delegates during the opening ceremony. Guyana's Minister of Public Telecommunications, the Honorable Kathy Hughes, will offer a keynote address on digital developments in the region. See the launch of the UNESCO-sponsored Manual of Social Media Guidelines for Caribbean Journalists, with guest speaker Jamaica's Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn. And hear from international media players about the new developments in digital television standards in Europe, the US, and Japan. And this year's Caribbean Broadcasting Awards Gala at the Atlantis Resort Paradise Island is not to be missed. Call 246-430-1007 to book your space in the 3-day conference and exhibition. Don't miss the CBU 48th Assembly at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau from August 21st through 24th. Discounts on flights to the assembly on the official airline, Caribbean Airlines.
Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is facing a lawsuit over the termination of one of his ambassadors. Yesterday, a High Court judge, Justice Frank C. Prasad, granted Eden Charles leave to file for judicial review, challenging his termination on the grounds that it was illegal. We get the details in this CNC3 news report.
Charles was terminated following a cabinet decision last year, and in January he petitioned the court seeking judicial review. He was appointed as this country's deputy permanent representative to the United Nations in 2012 by then-President George Maxwell Richards on the advice of then-PM Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Justice Frank C. Prasad granted Charles the leave which he sought. The former ambassador is seeking, among other things, a ruling that the process used to terminate him is illegal and unfair and was made in bad faith. He is also seeking to have the High Court declare that the cabinet decision was null and void and of no legal effect, and that it was contrary to his fundamental human rights. Based on the argument, he wants the court to quash the decision and make an order to have him reappointed.
And over in Dominica, legal advisor to Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says another lawsuit is in the making. Senior counsel Anthony Astafan yesterday told CMC News that the Prime Minister plans to take legal action against Hillary Shillingford for defamatory statements made on a radio talk show last month. Shillingford, who is an electoral commissioner and a supporter of the opposition United Workers' Party, is reported to have accused Prime Minister Skerrit of using state funds to bring supporters from the diaspora to vote. In a pre-action protocol letter dated June 16th, he was given until July 5th to apologize, retract his statements and pay damages. Failing that, he was told legal action would be taken against him. Guyana's President David Granger has announced the early implementation of emergency plans in the wake of the Camp Street prison uprising. He says the recapture of prisoners on the run is priority. Royden James of HGP Nightly News reports.
The government has approved the immediate implementation of a 4-part emergency plan to deal with the aftermath of Sunday's incident at the Camp Street jail. The plans were announced by President Granger Monday night.
Which includes the construction of temporary structures to safely and securely house prisoners in the short term and protect the population. The completion of a recovery operation to account for and accommodate every single prisoner. The implementation of legal measures to immediately reduce prison population and, importantly, the immediate recapture of those inmates who escaped custody.
The head of state assured that the National Security Council, which met on Monday for the second time after the Camp Street incident, will continue to remain engaged to coordinate and implement immediate measures to ensure that the situation remains stable and secure, and that there is a return to normalcy.
The Guyana Defense Force, Guyana Police Force, Guyana Prison Service, and Guyana Fire Service are working together to ensure public safety. A manhunt is being executed. Air and ground patrols are being conducted, and vigilance has been heightened on roadways and at key points.
The president also commended the security forces, which he said responded resolutely to a national emergency under difficult circumstances to contain the situation and limit the loss of life.
Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next.
Alright. I'm going to cook the corn first because I just boiled it. Alright. And I'm going to pan roast it. So it's going to get a very harsh set. And then from that I build my hash.
Right now, I think what Congress can do best is pursue tax reform through what's called reconciliation. That's a geeky term for a budget process that allows them to pass a bill with only 51 votes in the Senate. So you get rid of the threats of the filibuster. And what it should do is it should lower the rates broadly so that you make up for any deductions and loopholes that you're cutting out of the tax code, which you should absolutely do.
Continuing with sports, West Indies head coach Stuart Law wants to see Evan Lewis transfer his 2020 form and aggressive approach into the one-day format. This after watching the openers' scintillating 100 against India on Sunday. Lewis struggled badly in the recent five-match one-day series against India, mustering a mere 67 runs from 4 innings at an average of 16, but he put his poor run of form behind him in the one-off T20 International at Sabina Park in Jamaica, blasting an unbeaten 125 off 62 deliveries to fire the Windies to a sensational 9-wicket win, chasing a challenging 191. Law said the power hitting was amazing, and Lewis picked his targets and played all the right shots with controlled aggression, and that's what he wants to see him do in the 50-over format. Lewis struck a maiden 100 in only his second T20 International last year, August, also against the Indians, before lashing 91 in April against the touring Pakistanis. His performance on Sunday put him in elite company as one of only 3 batsmen with 2 international T20 hundreds, along with Chris Gayle and New Zealander Brendan McCullum. West Indies under-19 overcame a late inning slump before pulling off a 2-wicket win over South Africa under-19s in the second Youth One-Day International yesterday. Set a modest 208 for victory, the young Windies were coasting along at 165 for 3 in the 39th over, but suffered a collapse where 5 wickets tumbled for 35 runs in the space of 31 balls. Tottering on 200 for 8 in the 44th, the Caribbean side were rescued by the lion-hearted Jivor Royal, who ended unbeaten on 31 off 17 deliveries to take the team over the line. Bhaskar Yajram had earlier top scored with 81 off 116 balls, while captain Emmanuel Stewart chipped in with 45 off 69 balls. 16-year-old fast bowler Gerald Coetzee led the attack with 2 for 55. And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us again this evening at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.